Hello viewer, I want to hope that you've had a very good week and a very good day. I want to request you to take a few moments with us in this show, The Identity, where we discuss about youth issues and issues that really concern us down to our bone marrow. My name is Samuel Mangi. I'll be your host.
And I am Mercy Cherono. I will also be your host. But today on set we have two guests, lovely gentlemen, I might add. Just right next to me we have Evans. Evans, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Next to him, I maybe you remember him from last time. I had forgotten his name last time, but today I remember clearly. His name is Eston Opuch. Eston, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me once again.
Now, in today's discussion, we'll be talking about peer pressure. Well, very many things have been said about it. And I would like to encourage you, our viewer back at home, to join us in this conversation. On Twitter, make sure you start. We on Twitter find us at #TheIdentity. You can also follow me at Sami Mangi. You can also follow Mercy at MC_Cherono. Also on Facebook, Samuel Mangi or Mercy Cherono. You can post your views and comments and what you think about what you think about the subject of discussion. Now, Eston, yes. What is peer pressure? Before tuanze twende tumbali, what's peer pressure?
Peer pressure basically is being, in a way, pushed to do something that otherwise you wouldn't have been doing. Mm-hmm. For example, let me just give an example. Mm-hmm. Peer pressure can be looked at, for example, like when you look at adolescents, someone might be in a position where that person has never drunk or that person has never really engaged in sexual intercourse, and that person meets his or her friend and they're like, ufanyangi hizi vitu kila mtu anafanya. Everyone does it, yeah? And in the end they end up engaging in such activities because someone else in a way told them to do it. Okay. So peer pressure is basically being directed by other people to do something that otherwise you wouldn't have done.
So, Ivanso?
Yes. Again, thank you for having me. When you told me about peer pressure, I thought of our society. Basically, that is what peer pressure is. The things that you're forced to do by the society. The things that you're forced to do by those ones who surround you. They could be not really people who are close to you, but the people who matter to your life. These are the people who are in our daily lives. That is peer pressure for me.
Mercy.
Well, me, I would break down the word. Peer pressure has peer. Who is a peer? Well, peer is maybe someone probably of the same age bracket as you, age sets. Like, that's why like we usually have ambassadors, cornerstone, real time. These are peers. They belong to the same age bracket, meaning that their thoughts are the same. Yeah. How they behave at that age is basically the same. Because like at maybe Eston's age, his friends are getting jobs, getting married. At Sam's age, his friends are having third bonds, last bonds. Yeah, so you get like, hey, na mimi, why am I like? Maybe at my age, ladies are all about the latest dress, the latest hairstyle. Maybe those are the things that we think about. So peer is basically someone you are of the same age, you are in the same circle, you have the same thoughts, you have the same developmental expectations. Yeah, so I think that's it for peer. Now, pressure, on the other hand, refers to some force, some influence exerted. Now, I'd like us to broadly differentiate that there is influence, peer influence, and there is peer pressure. Now, pressure means that some force has been exerted. Someone has been coerced to do something. You have no choice in the matter. But peer influence, on the other hand, your influence, you decide, you're like, hey, but I love the way Eston has dressed. I love the way Sam has dressed. I think as Evans, I will do what Evans and or Eston says, hey, manzi, I like the way this guy's hairstyle. It's just influence, yeah? But pressure, Sam is like, leo tunavaa suti kwenda church. You have your pressurized and wasi, suit, that is pressure. So you don't have any choice in the matter.
That's real, yeah.
Eston, dictionary, kuna definition kutoka dictionary ya peer pressure?
I won't say that I might find a definition for peer pressure, but I may just look for pressure itself, and we look at what actually it says.
As you're quickly looking at it,
Yes.
I'm left to ask myself. We are saying kuna peer pressure, yet I'm very sure that kuna mtu nyumbani anasema kuna kitu ka peer pressure. It's about your choice. Umepata nini the definition of pressure?
I found the definition. I'm going to give us two definitions. The first one is saying a pressing or a force applied on something. Yeah. So, for example, like you're being pushed to go and do a
Drink.
specific to drink. For example, you're being pushed to go and drink. You're being pushed to dress in a particular way. That is pressure. And another thing is urgency. You know, whenever we're looking at peer pressure is not something that actually happens over a long span of time. You find that it is something that really occurs very rapidly. For example, let's say that, for example, people want to go and ban a school. And you find that people come and agree, and they come sit down, students sit down and say that tunataka kuchoma shule. and they won't say that let's sit down and think about it and reason out the pros and the cons.
They will
It's
start
something that-
chanting.
they start chanting, yeah. Exactly. Tunachoma shule. Exactly.
Okay, I was not home.
You have
You by any
experience.
chance, by any chance, part of what of the
That
team
is from
that
experience.
It is not from experience.
But you have seen something like that, yeah? You have seen something like that.
It is. I am sure you people so.
It's okay, we
No,
will
about
press.
you.
It's about me.
Yes.
Okay, we are talking. Eston, you were saying. Moving on.
So you see, Mercy said something which was very pertinent. You see, it removes pressure is all about removing the decision-making process. You don't really put your mind to engage your mind to go and think that probably this might be wrong, probably what I'm planning to do might have dire consequences in the end. You just go and do it because other people are doing it. So it removes the factor that there should be a thought process which is being put in this.
The choice of will,
The choice of will, exactly. But Mercy also talked about peer influence. I think that it's also very important to understand how peer influence comes. You see. When we're looking at pressure is a force applied to push something. But when you're looking at peer influence is something that pulls you towards something. It's like a gravitation, for example.
Okay.
Yeah, so you find that you might be influenced to go and attend such service because you have friends who are very Christian, very pious, and you want to engage with such kind of people. And you find that their kind of behavior that they have are actually things that you want to emulate, and you find that the decision making process is actually held within you. You know, people, there's this, I'm not sure if it's a Chinese proverb, people usually just say that it's a Chinese proverb. You say that when you look at an egg, when you crack an egg from outside, death comes, yeah? Life ends. But when you crack an egg from inside, life begins. So you come and understand how peer pressure can be able to work.
Unajua Eston, nilikuwa nimengoja unasema ni hao. Yeah. People say the Chinese, yeah? But I subscribe to what you're saying.
Yes.
But then there are people like me and other people who are watching who will say hakuna kitu ka pressure. Evans.
Yes.
Kuna kitu ka peer pressure.
Pressure is there, but it
So it is
depends.
real.
It is real.
Pressure is very
Peer
real.
pressure is
It's
real.
there.
Hebu ni convince Jimmy sione ka kuna peer pressure.
First of all, there is pressure. Let us agree on that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pressure
But it
iko.
depends. There is negative peer pressure and there is positive peer pressure. I want to use an example of metals. You know, pressure, the way he has defined it, it's something like a force. It's really pulled on something.
Yeah.
And we know when you want to make something out of a metal, you have to hit it so hard.
Exactly.
So pressure, there is a yes and there is a no in pressure, because you know you can't always get a yes in pressure. You can either get a yes or a no. So there are those people who can withstand pressure, and there are those ones who can't withstand pressure. Because when you're hitting a metal, there is that one that won't bend, and when you're hitting a metal, there is an easy one. This one that normally it bends so quickly. So it depends with the person who is the pressure is being exerted on. Who is this kind of a person? Is he bronze? Is he aluminium? So that is, I think, the point whereby we normally know who is who, and that pressure, how is it going to affect that person?
Exactly.
So tuseme tu basi mimi ni metal juu sijaona kitu ka peer pressure. Si ndio? Tuseme mimi ni metal.
No, that means you've been able to withstand peer pressure. At all instances of life, there's always peer pressure.
True.
When I was young, I remember there was peer pressure to stay and play out late. As in children, wanataka kucheza until
Mpaka
3 hours.
saa moja
Yes,
na
and
nusu.
you will find themselves saying, tucheze tu kidogo tu.
Kidogo tu.
Yes.
Actually
Yes.
kwa ball.
One more game. One more. Moja tu. That is small children. You know that is peer pressure.
Yeah, true.
You know you're supposed to be home saa 11 ikupate, you know. But you go and play. And then when you grow up, when you go to class 8, people are like, kesho mimi sikuji shule. Pia mimi sikuji. Huyo tichana bo. So you know it becomes, it just starts as something and the crowd picks it up and they start. So you know maybe you like that teacher, but because the whole class thinks that teacher is not good. Hey, high school now.
The worst.
Everyone is sijui boyfriend from sijui with school nini. Now you, because
Shout
you
out,
want
that
to
makes
fit
sense.
in. We talked about identity in our previous show. Now because you want to fit in, because you want that sense of belonging, because you want to be identified with your peers, then you simply try and do what they're doing. Simply because everyone anatextiwa, unaona tu kila mtu ako kwa text, you're like,
Boss, kwani sina
it's a teenager thing. So you think simply because everyone is doing it, that's the right thing to do. Now, as you grow up, you find, bana, my boys wanna settle. The girls, people are planning weddings. You are like,
Sammy is still there.
I am still here. God have mercy. You know, and so people, maybe it is God has not ordained, God has not designed for you to get married at that particular point. So you end up, because your friends are in a marrying spree, you also get peer pressure that
Acha na mimi.
and then you know people in church will start telling you ondoa jam. Yes. I don't know if you guys have heard that. Yes.
Ni juu yako
Tunangoja mchele, tunangoja, you know.
Nitapima suti lini bana?
Yes, tunapima manguo lini, and they will come and ask you. So you feel pressurized, to do and make a life-changing decision, not because maybe you're ready, not because you have the intention of doing it, but because everyone else is doing it. As you grow older, I am now at like maybe tumefika 30. Now as you grow at 30, unasikia watu wananunua plot, unasikia yes.
Beshtanga no garage.
You know, you start feeling the pressure to do what other people are doing. And as you grow up, you get to 40, you start hearing, you know, nowadays it's become rampant that men, as in cheating, is no longer a big thing. So you hear, because it's, as in society, no longer frowns upon cheating. So as you grow older, you're like, by the way, this lady, as in she's just.
I needed something.
Yes. So you start getting pressurized, but there is now when you start getting pressurized to buy a car. At 30 ilikuwa ploti. You seeing all your friends wamenunua hapo ma Toyota, and you don't have any. So you just go and look for
Futsubishi bana.
you look for a second hand, You're on Futsubishi, and guys are on Mitsubishi. I mean, so as you grow older, every other pattern in life, guys are under pressure.
Yes.
I am meant to ask this. Umefika mpaka 40. Are you trying to say ati kuna pressure mpaka le ages zile za 50? Are you trying to say kuna peer pressure huko?
Trust me, if you observe, even the way people dress.
Even our grandmothers.
Yes, even our
So through the
grandmothers,
ladder.
they will do the same thing.
Evanso, unagree kuna peer pressure mpaka huko?
Yeah, peer pressure is all through the ladder, because as you're moving, the way she has said, as you're moving, the people, the bracket that you're moving with are doing something. You know, so you want to do the same thing pia. Hey, watu wamenunua mortgage ziko hapa, mimi sina, you know, I want to do it. Umekuwa mzee, you have kids, but unaona ule mzee rafiki yako bana, daughter yake yako na in-law, mimi sina in-law, start pushing your daughter way.
Unafanya nini?
Hauna rafiki. The question is usually hauna rafiki.
They normally ask
You know?
these things. Hey, kwani wewe uone mtu hapo kwa kanisa? They normally ask. So pressure is all through the ladder.
Tukusaidia ama is
But
how?
I think the problem is acceptance, because as a society nowadays we don't accept ourselves the way we are.
That's true. That's true.
I want to be like him because, you know, hey, this guy looks, you know, I want to be like him. I don't know if I be like me, nita climb vizuri than nikitaka kukua kama yeye. That is the main problem.
Unajua, in that breath, unajua kuna vitu zingine unazi influence kama President Trump. Sijui kana za influence mtu akuwe President Kaya. Unajua vile mko vocal during his campaigns. I don't know kama itakuwa hivyo, but anyway, in that breath, as an individual, kuna vitu unawezaona alafu sema, is any pressure hapa, any influence hapa? Can you get to identify the signs of peer pressure and or other influence?
Well, Eston had talked about, and I think Eston, I'd like you to just maybe highlight more on what you had mentioned earlier.
Yeah.
You had mentioned something to do with the ability of choice being withdrawn. The ability of you having that decision making is taken from your hands. So maybe you can
Yeah, you can elaborate on that point as you tell us. Is it possible to identify this?
Well, the first thing that we need to consider when we are looking at signs of peer pressure, one of them, as I said, is that the decision-making process is removed. And you find that whenever someone's ability to make a choice is removed, these people tend to be either they tend to become very reserved, their character basically changes. They stop being the people that you used to identify them as. You might find that if this person used to be talkative, or this person used to associate with group A, you find that this person starts associating with group B. If this person used to be a person who probably did not really like engage, or was very reserved, let me say was very reserved, you find that this person starts, probably even the dress code might change. And most importantly, you find that in terms of their character, you find that they tend to become a bit aggressive. You tend to find that these people start living a life of denial. You know, when you actually fear that you are changing, you don't really want to admit that you are changing. Yeah, and you find that these people like to live in a realm of imagination whereby everything remains okay, yet people are seeing that these things are changing. So you might find that this person becomes apprehensive when you go and approach them and tell them that, hey, you look like something's up, are you okay? You find this person starts becoming defensive, starts becoming apprehensive, and this person starts becoming suspect that probably things are changing. And that is because of peer pressure, because their own decision-making process has been removed. Yeah, and once it is removed, just as I said, once it is removed, you cannot be able to come and reason out why you're becoming the way you are. So you try as much as possible to come and defend the position that you've already taken, instead of actually explaining how you got to that place.
Wow. Okay. You need depth in the kwanza Abu Evans. Once even the will, the power of will in withdraw. He has been elaborate to say to articulate how the process goes. Have you been able to come across with people who have gone through this? Or have you yourself been through that position?
Personally, no. But
Yeah, that metal.
From observing the community, society, what he said, once that decision-making thing is removed out from you, then you don't have your own will. So it means you're going to flow with what is out there, what other people are using. So it is not by your own mechanism. Now that is where now the pressure comes in. Because by the time you'll now be getting out of your own shell, you're going out there, you will find very funny things out there, because the scales at which people are moving with, first of all, they're not same. So I think that is the technical bit.
Okay,
I think I'd like to give an example. Yeah,
just on a light note,
Yeah.
Since I've been in school, I've always been hearing out there. Where exactly is this out there? Because even right now, I'm being told out there. And I'm like, when I was in school, they were telling me out there. Right now, I think I'm out there. Anyway, that was just on a light note.
Okay.
But do you know, I feel peer pressure. Esther, you've talked of being defensive. Well, I believe some of the things that will show peer pressure, you're no longer asking yourself, should I do this?
Okay.
Is this what I want for myself? You're relying on your friends. By the Eston said, by the Sam was saying, by the Ivan said, it's no longer about, kuna beshti yangu alikuwa anasema maploti. It's no longer about, I was reading the newspaper, my parents told me when I get to this age. It's no longer about what your parents, what you've read, what you think. It's about, by then my friend thinks this dress is nice. By then my friends were saying this hairstyle. By then my friends told me. By the way,
It's
everything is attributed to your friends. What they think and what they say and what they stand for has more value than what you say.
Exactly.
It is not. It's like if something is cool, then someone, So that point when you are relying on your friend's intelligence rather than your own, then peer pressure is wrong. And also when you no longer listen to your parents, because you talked about being defensive.
Yes.
You will find even high school, like guys in high school, I know some of our viewers are in high school. Now, if you find yourself that you're in high school, and for example, you get home and your parents ask you, I don't like the company with such and such a friend, you get violent and say, you know, at that age, you know what is supposed to happen. You feel like you know everything in the world. So you feel like your parents don't have a right to say anything. So I believe that if our viewers, all of them, can identify instances where they rely on their friends' intelligence more than they do. It's good to live in a social world where you no longer have to listen to your parents to make decisions, where you cannot sit down and say, by day today, I will eat rice and beans.
I agree.
But you say, my friends have been eating spaghetti. Let me also go and buy spaghetti. You know?
I think in that breath, there's something you said about dressing that I would like to pick it up as we go to the talent segment. That I do this because of my friends. My girlfriend said this is nice, and there's a nice piece that we were able to collect when we were a trip in Mombasa. Isaac Omar, he presented a very nice poem on miniskirt. I'd like to share with you guys and tell us how you think about it.
Benebati inaudhia, Malimbwende inaudhia. Leo ni leo, asemaya kesho ni mwana Godomari. Binadamu wa ajabu, hatosheki rohoni. Kila siku ana tabu, raha kamwe haioni. Nami naona ajabu, ndugu nitafanya nini? Nisione aibu, nipate raha moyoni. Binadamu, mtu wa ajabu, nifanye nini? Nione raha moyoni. Kila jambo nifanyalo, halimpendezi hata nani. Mara kuna mgogoro, sijui kwa njia gani. Kama ninayo kasoro, niambiwe kwa yakini. Duniani nifanye nini? Nione raha moyoni. Nikikaa kimya sana, naitwa babu jinga. Utukutu bila maana, ndio werevu wa kanga. Kujifanya muhiana, kisha kuoga michanga. Duniani nifanye nini? Nione raha moyoni. Mavazi ya kupendeza, yakiwa mazuri mno, na mwendo kuilegeza, eti nina majivuno. Kuvagunia minaweza, bali sijaona mfano. Duniani nifanye nini? Nione raha moyoni. Nikikaa kimya nyumbani, nasengenywa na vijana. Bidii nyingi kazini, eti nitakufa kijana. Nikijifanya mwiani, nafungwa bila maana. Duniani nifanye nini? Nione raha moyoni. Niamkiwapo jambo na wazee wa dini, nami nikanyamaza tu, nitatungiwa mafumbo. Wewe umjali mtu, ngoja utaona mambo. Sioni raha moyoni. Duniani nifanye nini? Nione raha moyoni. Zani nasumbuka sana, japo ningali kijana, na hata bado sijaoa. Ya mawazo yapingana, jinsi yalivyojazana. Enyi wazee, mzee wangu, na vijana, jawabu pesi sana. Duniani nifanye nini? Nione raha moyoni. Duniani nifanye nini? Nione raha moyoni. Lakini wallahi billahi, Yesu Kristo mwana wa Mungu ndiye raha moyoni. Lakini wallahi billahi, Yesu Kristo ndiyo raha moyoni. moyoni. Shabas.
Welcome back, dear viewer. Before the break, we were looking at peer pressure, and we defined peer pressure, and so what can be causing peer pressure? What are the signs that you'll say, haya, kumbe niko kwa peer pressure? And we've also realized that peer pressure is not just at young people, it can be at all forms of life. So, welcome back, our dear guests.
Thank you.
We can maybe look at the effects of peer pressure. What bad? Why do we say peer pressure is bad? Because Evans, you had mentioned positive and negative peer pressure. So what is the effect of this negative peer pressure, and what are the maybe effects, positive effects of positive peer pressure? Yeah.
Okay, fine. I'll start with positive peer pressure. That is the
For once, someone is starting with something positive. Most of the time, you just hear negative, negative, negative. God bless you, my
Yes, we
brother.
are talking after Matiangi. So we'll start with the positive peer pressure. You know, when you decide to, it's all about picking the right path. Because let me narrow it down to the Adventist world, you know, because we also have pressure of our peer pressure in our path. So I think where the results of positive peer pressure is that good life that you're going to get, the aftermath, the good choices that you make now, the result of it. Because you know you have two paths and you're picking one, deciding, let me don't do this bad thing, let me do this good one, let me don't run away from school, let me be in school. So the end result of being in school, you know, good grades.
I just have one question for you, yeah? You know, pressure, that is choice. Choosing not to do what everyone else is doing. That is choice. But you know, for pressure to exist, force has to be applied. In physics, I think it's F over A. Force over area.
That is equal to
yes.
pressure.
So, force over area. So for pressure, there has to be force. So this force, positive, maybe you can give us an example of positive peer pressure.
Positive peer pressure, like, you know, let me, recently you guys were in Mombasa, right? And before you actually went there, there was this pressure that was down in our churches. Us as members were being told, you know, there were some pressures that were given from top, from our elders, you know, your kids have to go there, your kids have to go there. I think for that instance, that was the force that was being exerted.
Oh, even the children themselves were like, mapati, tunaenda kampuni.
Then you hear like friends wako wote wamelipa, wende umebaki hapo, you know.
And it's for a good mood.
Yeah,
for a
and
good
actually,
plan.
yeah, there are even kids that went home crying, me usipolipia kampuri, I'm not going to stay here this December, you know. Kind of such things, yeah, we could talk of that.
That's a
So
positive peer pressure.
the positive peer pressure, the benefit, the effect it has might not be immediate.
Exactly.
I think it's good to understand that the effect might not be immediate. You might not reap the results now, but you may reap them in future. Just like the consequences of any action. There is some, and most of the time, maybe Eston, you can give us negative peer pressure, yeah? What are the benefits that you accrue from? Not benefits, by the way. What are the effects of negative peer pressure? Maybe results might not be now, but consequences. Like if you avoid and say, me, I won't fall into the peer pressure of getting married because all my friends are marrying. Maybe in future you will. I was listening to something about mated but not matched. Many people we have are mated but not matched. So maybe if you fall into positive peer pressure of not getting married early, of choosing to wait. Because you know, there are people who've actually chosen to wait. And when you hang out with them, you're like, take time, my brother, take time. So, yeah.
Well, I think that there are also positive effects of negative peer pressure. Let me just
Positive effects of something negative.
Positives or negatives.
let me just give this example. Last week we talked about identity.
Yeah.
Once you know your identity, you're able to follow that identity. Sindio?
Yeah.
Then you find that the whole world or your society, the peers that you have, the peers that are around you, are planning to push you to do something which is against what you actually intend to be as a person. And this is the point where your identity is tested. And you know, in scripture, we're told that once you are tested, your identity is tested, once your personality is tested, that is when you are established. So you find that the true person, the true character that is within you is established once you face these challenges. But that's just an example. Now looking at the negative ones. I like the example of bees. You know, in nature, you actually find answers to so many things. When you look at a beehive, there are so many bees which are around, millions of bees, and you find that they're always trying to protect two things. They're always trying to protect the hive itself, the honey which is in the hive, and number two, they're always trying to protect the queen. And let's say, for example, a predator comes and ruffles the hive. Well, it only needs one bee to come and bite this person for all the bees to come and attack this person.
Yeah, rush proper.
Yeah, you find that there's what we call a swarm effect. There is no choice. Once this first bee attacks this predator, what happens is that there are pheromones which are released, and these pheromones actually make all these other bees assume that there is danger which is lurking around, and they come and follow this predator. Now look at that.
Umesema farao, umesema nini?
I said pheromones.
Pheromones.
That's a hormone.
It's a hormone.
In simple words.
Oh, it's a hormone.
It's a hormone. It's actually found in all organic beings, especially animals. Yeah,
Oh,
they're found in animals. So you come and find that there's a fight or flight. When you look at a bee is actually a very funny creature. When a bee stings you, it's going to hurt you, but the bee is going to die.
Yeah?
The bee is the one that dies.
Okay,
But
interesting.
The bee is the one that dies, but you just get hurt a bit, yeah? Now, putting this in the context of now us as humans, you come and realize that once you take away the choice, for example, let's say that people agree that they're going to ban a school. You see, what these people are trying to protect is the two things still. Number one, you want to protect the core identity of the group, which is you want to be seen as rebellious. That is the core identity that's the driving factor. That is the queen. Now the honey of this is that you don't want to be seen as separate. You want to have a good standing with your fellow beings. That is now the honey that you're trying to protect. So you find that in the end, when you go and ban a school, and let's say that you're implicated in this kind of scenario, only you are the one who's going to suffer. You're the one who's going to suffer the consequences as an individual. You might be expelled, you might be suspended, and you come and realize that just as a bee dies, you're also going to suffer grievous consequences than the person that you're trying to hurt, or the person that you're trying to engage with all these activities.
And may it be taken to record that we are not at any chance encouraging people to strike. Kaeni shule. Ka shule.
No, you can imagine, yeah? Last week we talked about identity. Maybe I can relate, yeah? Once you do something, once you fall, just to add on negative effects of peer pressure, once you fall into following what people are doing, then immediately your identity is damaged.
It's shattered.
Yes,
Exactly.
because as you're dealt with as an individual, your identity, they'll say, ule de mwenye alikuwa na strike. You'll no longer be a student, but a striking student. You will no longer be, I remember when I was in school, people would be shocked because they do not expect you to fall under certain peer pressure or aspect, simply because, like, hey, demo SDA, wasiu. Because you have associated yourself with a certain group, you should not conform. That's why last week we talked about conforming to the patterns of the world. Once you conform, then you've fallen into peer pressure. Simply put.
In that breath.
I wanted to add something on the, he said the positive and the negatives of peer pressure. There's something, even the negatives, they have good side, but it is not long lasting. It is short. Because when you do it, when immediately you decide you're being pressured to maybe go and drink, when you are drinking, that the immediate thing, you'll have fun, yeah? You'll have fun, niko high, you know, I'm good, I'm
Sijielewi,
feeling
niko
good. Then
sawa.
umefurahisha friends wako, you know, the immediate effect is that you'll feel good. And you'll have also encourage your friends that tuko pamoja, tuko
Sindolo,
pamoja.
see.
But now, sure thing to be known here, the end product of negative peer pressure is distraction. That
will
one we
affect your
should,
health.
yeah, we should never always forget, because
I agree.
the end product of negative peer pressure is distraction.
Now in that breath, mimi ni ule msee nimeona signs. Ndio hizi yake Esto, ndio hizi Esto, unaniambia ninunue simu na sinunui, ndio hii. Na ninataka I want to stand as one, No, what approach should I give such a situation so that I don't fall victim of the peer pressure?
First and foremost, peer pressure, remember, it comes from society, the people that you associate with. So the first thing that you need to do is, number one, establish who you are as an individual. Once you do that, look for people who are similar to, who have similar interests to yourself.
Similar-minded, rather.
Who are similar-minded to yourself. Once you do that, you'll come to realize that you'll now be influenced by positive-minded people. You won't be pressured by negative-minded people.
So
Understand the difference?
more like unachagua peer yako sasa.
Exactly. You need to always have a choice in everything that you do. I remember we talked when we were saying that peer pressure arises is when you remove the aspect of choice. Always make a choice for the right thing. When you make a choice, you'll find that most of the time you're going to make a choice to do the right thing. Yeah. So number one, choose your friends and choose your friends wisely.
I agree.
Number two, choose your role models. Always go and engage with these people who are wiser than you, and ask them, if I go and do this thing with these people, would it be right? Because sometimes you might think that you're choosing the right people, but the Bible also says that the heart is deceitful above all other things. Who can know it? You might think that you're choosing the right friends, but you're choosing the wrong people. Go and look for wiser people who are able to come and discern the right from wrong, and ask
Or
them.
rather, you're choosing the right people for a wrong motive.
For a wrong motive. Yeah. So have the right motives and have the right choices. Look for people who are wiser than you to help you make these choices, and always remember, as a Christian, always have a backdrop in your religion. Look at what Scripture says. Would it be right for you to do A, B, and C? Yeah.
Evans,
Yes.
what approach will I give this?
It all goes back to identity. Don't give anybody the power of your choice, your choice, decision to make choices, because that is where, sisi kama vijana, that is where we trip. Because now when you don't have that choice anymore, then it means that pressure is going to fall upon you. So first of all, identity. Where do you belong? Who I am? That is the first question. Who I am? I'm a Christian. From which family? From which background? From which standard? Then when you have all the basics with you on the table, now you have the blueprint. Nice. What can I do? Nataka kubai hiyo phone. I have only 3Gs. Na iPhone 7 ni how much? 120.
Don't even go there, please. Please don't even go there. Please don't even go there.
No, we don't go there because I'm afraid I'm going to give somebody pressure.
Please don't even go there. Please don't even go there. Well,
when you have the blueprint on the table, it is now upon you to have that strength. Be strong in me and I'll be strong in you. That is how it is said. So you just have that thing of having your own thing.
Well, there's a lady who mentioned something, and she said, peer pressure ni kitu iko, hatuwezi fanya anything about it. As in, ni kitu iko, hatuwezi change. And okay, when she said that, hakuna solution, because she was asked if maybe peer pressure hakuna solution, yeah? And she said, hiyo ni kitu iko, hatuwezi fanya anything about it, yeah? So do you think maybe we can change? And I thought, these are my personal thoughts, maybe you can air yours, yeah? A solution does not necessarily mean getting rid of the cause and effect. A solution might mean mitigating in such a way that we have positive effects from negative causes. In that, maybe if we understand that peer pressure is there in the society, then we try to divert this peer pressure to become positive peer pressure. Instead of saying we'll kill peer pressure, we will kill any peer groups, we will kill any age mates working together, we will kill, we will ban, we will declare sanctions. No, we will, not killing as in murdering, but we will destroy, as in we will put sanctions and ban, yes, curfews that prevent people from associating together. We are social beings and we can never get rid of that.
And
we
man can't leave an island.
Yes, but what we can do as maybe we can just channel this so that the peers, like as soon as I say choose your friends wisely. You've said about metals, yeah? You look for gold. Don't go and look there for scrap metal. You go and look for gold metal and you hang out with gold metal. Yes, so that you as scrap metal I will bend with you to become any other, you know. But as gold, I used to say that I think this is a principle that I'd like to share with those viewers who are in high school and maybe even in other stages of life. That as we look into peer pressure, let us not look at what other people have to do. Why don't we make it other people wanting to be doing what you are doing? Why don't we... Last week we talked about uniqueness. Why don't you stand out so that people say, by the way, what she's doing, I want
like
to
to
follow.
emulate that.
Yes, so that people can follow us as Christians as we follow Christ.
As we progress further, we already decided this is the approach that we're going to give. But then I want to believe for peer pressure to exist, that means there has to be a peer. There has to be a peer. So how do I choose my peers? How do I, Evans, ninachuzaje mabeshte zangu?
First, you know, this goes back to, I don't know, you're reminding me of a class that was in adventurers, you know. You know, when you were growing, you used to be taught something about, it was a builder class. So you used to be taught something
But
about...
unakumbuka vitu za builder.
Yeah. Hey,
Train up a child in the way she will grow. Hata kimea ndivyo atakumbuka.
So, you used to, first of all, you check on the wajua religion ni kitu ya maana sana, especially now that we're living in a cosmopolitan and the metropolitan world.
Well, ndio hiyo.
I
It
need
has to
some
come.
Del Monte. So, first of all, unaangalia kwanza, it goes back to what we had said. First of all, unaangalia kwanza unataka nini. You know, I wouldn't want to be a pilot and I'm hanging out with somebody who wants to be a makanga, you know. No offense to makangas, but first of all, you look at what do I want? What do I want? So I hang out with somebody that is going to help me get that what I want. Because she can be a good role model because she knows many things that I don't know. So if I hang out around with her for more time, I'll get to where I want.
What kind of a relationship is that? A symbiotic or symbiotic?
It's a
hang with me,
you
I
both
benefit.
benefit, yeah. It should not be a one-way street. My high school motto was arise and soar with the eagles. We were told to arise and soar with the eagles. In that, eagles do not play with chicken. Eagles are there. So as Christians, our standard should just soar like the eagles and not come down to the level of chicken. No offense to chicken. I know there are people, viewers who love
Huge
chicken.
fans.
Yes.
You should apologize.
I believe as we wind up the show that we should, maybe as you form your friends, what will Christ like of us as we're forming friends? We're told a bad companion ruins morals. Yes. So our companions should be companions who are edified, who have the same belief system as I do. There's no way I, as a Christian, will associate. Of course I can associate with them, yeah. But most of my circle will encompass of people I've met in church, people I've met in school. So who are these your friends? Where do you meet them? Because if I go and drink, then I will meet my friends in a club. But if I fellowship at wherever I fellowship, my social circle will be made up of people I've fellowshipped with. So you see, the friends we choose should be people of like-minded, yeah, like-minded friends. Just the same way you can have, I remember Jonathan and David, yeah? They came from different families, and sometimes that was positive peer pressure, in that Jonathan refused to listen what his father was saying. And we have so many instances in the Bible where our friends have changed people, where the disciples were being called. You see, that is a friend saying, come and see the man from Nazareth.
Yes, as you take us to the next segment.
Yes, so it is good we follow Christ, and as our peers, our friend, then Christ will lead us to true friends. And always pray about friends. Yeah, pray and ask God for good friends.
nimechagua isipokuwa na nguvu. Niite, niongoze kwa neema, nifunze kwa upole wako, na hata nikikosea nisaidie, nisaidie. Natamani kutembea nawe, natamani kutembea nawe, natamani kutembea nawe. Niongoze, niongoze. Sielewi njia hii, ndio maana nakuhitaji na kutegemea wewe. Enda nami, enda nami. Nashindwa kukupa yote, hata hivyo nitaamini, kwani najua mwishowe kuna raha, kuna raha. Natamani kutembea nawe, natamani kutembea nawe, natamani kutembea nawe. Niongoze, natamani kutembea nawe, natamani kutembea kutembea nawe. Niongoze, niongoze.
I do hope by the end of this season, Mercy will get to know the understanding of out there. And I'd like to finish with this statement. Show me your friend and I'll tell you your character. Hakuna kutoroka hapo. It's your friend who are going to influence the kind of person you're going to be. And let us stick to our identity. Till next time.